Welcome to the Being Curious Show. I'm Brian Mariani, founder of No Shift Own.
And I'm Kelly Wagner, publisher of Edge magazine. Our show is about curiously connecting teachers and seekers on a wide range of topics in a safe space. Few topics will be off limits, and we have some amazing guests to share with you.
Our intention is that our conversations will spark your own curiosity to create a life that lights you up and inspires you to be kind, thoughtful, open-minded to yourself and others.
We are on AM 950, Sundays at 2 p.m. and all podcast platforms. So, Brian, what are you curious about today?
Kelly, I'm ready to dive in with our guest today.
Let's just do it.
It's gonna be so fun because our guest, Kate of grouptarot.com, that's group and then TAROT, just in case anyone wanted to throw another R in there, grouptarot.com. We're so excited that Kate's with us today. Thank you, Kate, for being here. Kelly, do you have anything that you want to share before we dive in?
Kate's awesome. She is a regular contributor for the Edge magazine, and I look forward to your weekly sharings and updates. And you're so heart-centered, and you're so dialed in. And I just am so excited that you're a part of our community, and now on our show. Yay!
Yes, and just to set some foundational, let's call them maybe a principle. I love what you have. You share that your real quest in life is to inspire and create what you call a best world. Mm-hmm. But best stands for something which is beautiful, equitable and ethical, sustainable and timely. Mm-hmm. And what a better time to be having a conversation with you with that foundation. So, Kate, we love our audience, our listeners, our incredible, dynamic, worldwide fan base to really...
All six of them.
It exists out there in the other world, right? In the physical world, it's getting there. I mean, what are we at, 5 yet or 6?
We're at 6, man. We're at 6. We're almost 6 followers.
We're almost a week of fans, which is pretty cool. We're going to go for a month this year. Anyway,
do it.
So
yes.
So Kate, for all those people, in all seriousness, who are listening, and we want them to get to know the Kate that is the person before you created this incredible group tarot and you became this awesome professional and you have all this stuff that you do. So what happened earlier on in your life where, looking back now, you can say, oh, well, that's why I do what I do? Is there an experience or anything that you could share with us?
I think there's a few.
That's a fantastic opening question. Thank you for that, Brian.
Kelly gave me that script before we started. I mean,
teamwork.
It's all him.
Teamwork. That's why we're great partners.
Beautiful thing. So it's interesting. When I was 8 years old, my dad was in a catastrophic accident. He is still with us. In fact, if you follow any of my personal social pages, the guy in the wheelchair, that's my dad. He pops up on group tarot pages and pictures now and again, but that's more on my personal side than on my business and professional side. And in the subsequent years after any traumatic event, there's learning and growth and processing and all of that work and all of those layers. And it was interesting as I got older to be able to look back at my younger self, and while if I could experience the alternate timeline where my dad stayed healthy and whole, that would be amazing. I would truly love that. And at the same time, for this timeline, anyway, I can look back and see how I could have been on a very selfish trajectory in life, and my dad's accident not only brought me in touch at a really early age with like understanding the gravitas of mortality, but also like in-depth, visceral, kinetic understanding of what it is to not be the center of attention and for that to be okay. For me to not be the center of needs and focus and still have all of my actual needs met, emotional, spiritual, like, you know, don't get me wrong. Those like teenage years and stuff were hard and awful in like all sorts of ways. Like it's not I'm not looking back with rose-colored glasses here, more and the kind of work and awarenesses that brought up in me for my own healing, as well as how fantastically strong our community was and is, were really pivotal, and in many ways are an underlying. There's one of my family members' devices is going off, and it's this like lovely little tune in the background. So I have this like little bobble happening back there also, which is interesting. And to tangent slightly, environment as a tarot reader and like just in life, I feel are all sorts of awarenesses. So it's like, interesting. What do I need to be listening to? And so that laid a foundation for my abilities to really be empathetic and sympathetic in ways and for situations that not everybody has. And I definitely bring that to the cards.
Well, that's a tee up. Okay. I mean, like, you can't make that up, right? So everybody, no. Kate is gifted in many different arenas. We are going to talk about her purple bust, but we're not going to talk about it yet. Kate has so generously offered to pull a card. So I would love to see what deck is calling to you. And you let me know what the intention is of your pull and where we should go from there.
So the deck that was calling out to be shared is Lua Tarot, created by Marie Bento. This particular deck is now out of print. But it is one of my favorites right now. It is definitely one of my workhorse decks. It comes up in Card of the Week a lot. It's a lot of my individual clients and business clients have been pulling from it. And part of what I love about this deck is that it weaves the old and the new. It is created from wood carvings and wood engravings from the 1800s that Portland artist Marie Bento then digitized and turned into this grayscale collage that we will be using to pull a card. Let's see what the cards have to say about how and where our curiosities converge. We are given the Magician. Well, that's not... Sometimes the cards are so freaking literal. I love it. Sometimes they are so esoteric and sometimes they are so literal. Why, yes, I do in fact believe that we three here converge at an intersection of being curious about magic, about how all of our skills, our tools come together to be used and shared in the world, how we wear and take off masks at certain times to share our true and underside, that vulnerable underbelly, and how sometimes we put those masks on for healing, for protection, for mystique, for fun. And we are conduits between the earth and heavens, between what is above and what is below. We have all of the tools that we need in these amazing bodies of ours, as well as all of like the history and herstory. Although this particular library is my aunt's and not of a huge metaphysical variety, although we do have a good amount of books on Egyptology nearby here. And yeah, would y'all is this card correct? Are either of you?
Well, it's funny you pull that one because
magician?
I call Kelly the magical one. And so Kelly and I, we call our personal time together where we get to just be friends. We call it our magic time.
Mm-hmm. Right. And also
So
the card,
yes.
right? I mean, like, yeah.
Literal.
And the card has an infinity symbol above the magician's head, which I think is a really beautiful, right? It's perfect. Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. Look at that. That's his logo.
It's quite
right?
literal.
You guys, if
so that works.
this is going to be one of those shows where listen to it on the air, but then go back to the Edge multimedia section and also AM 950's Facebook page and watch the graphics, because this video is going to be really good and you can kind of capture what Kate's sharing. Yeah, that's a great one.
Oh, yeah. So for audio transcription purposes, the card that I pulled is the magician, and our individual has curly black hair all done up on the top of her or their head. There are mountains in the background and either a sun or a moon rising behind. Since it's a grayscale deck, it can be either. And there are trees, and our individual, who looks to be of Asian or Mongolian ancestry, it has a black mask between their left index finger and thumb, and is wearing like regal silks and diaphanous outfits, corseted, belted.
The expression on their face is very interesting because it is trying to say nothing but so much at the same time.
I completely agree. It is a very Mona Lisa-like gaze of, and there is also sorrow and compassion while being still. Like, there are not a lot of lines on this person's face at all. And one eyelid is ever so gently saggier than the other. And one sleeve is done up in all of these bows, and one sleeve is long, and one hand is gloved and one hand is ungloved. And so there is this willingness to take the gloves off and do the work, mm-hmm. because magic is also work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a great card. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Holding it up made me realize that somewhere I chipped a nail.
Oh, okay.
You should probably put the glove on that hand.
You know, or maybe it's
Or not.
some reminder of the perfect imperfections that we have.
There's always a message.
Oh, absolutely.
Message, indeed.
So how are we doing on segment 1 here, Kelly?
We are about to wrap it up. So, there's all these different ways that we could go right now, but knowing that we have 37 seconds left, we're going to just cue the music. You guys, this is Kate Mura with Group Tarot. We're going to dive into a whole bunch of different things in our next segment. Love the Magician card. Love that. I want to also talk to you more about your business clients and how you really definitely help people throughout their day and give beautiful guidance. Kate Mura, Group Tarot, grouptarot.com. And we will be back being curious. Kelly and Brian, thank you.
Wow. All right. And we're back.
Patrick's ready to go today. Woo!
So in my brain during the break,
I know.
I was saying in my head, I was like, I might talk about that we stoked the fire in the first segment. And then Patrick just like, boom.
Right? I was like, way to go, Patrick.
Our amazing producer, Patrick. All right, we're back. Segment 2. We are here with Kate Mura. And this is definitely going to be one of those shows that we do encourage you to watch.
Yeah.
Of course, listen, you'll get a lot from that, but watching will definitely be an extra level of enjoyment because Kate's here, she's got the cards, and she's showing the visuals. And we thought we'd do something really fun today. We're actually going to pull cards for each of us, or at least Kelly and I, and then we want to pull a card for all of humanity. There's so much going on right now, and there's confusion and disassociation and all of these things that are happening. And based on what we got with the first card that you pulled, Kate,
let's just pull
I have
cards
all
the
the
whole
confidence
time.
in the world that the
No
cards
pressure,
that we
Kate.
pull are very important.
Right?
So let's jump in, Kelly.
And if you want to switch decks up, totally. We're just
you're
here.
running the show.
Yeah, you're running the show. We're just your tour guides.
I love it. Well, the Lua Tarot is still singing out. So who wants to choose their card first? Kelly or Brian?
Brian should.
All right, Brian.
He was going to be
say, I'm
polite.
going to leave it to your energy, but go for it. Let's do it.
Kelly had a strong impulse. Thank you for
She has a
following.
lot of strong impulses. Not all are on the air, so that's fine.
It is in fact fine. So,
Okay, let's do it.
Brian, I'm going to
Do I
start.
just need to say stop or
You just need to say stop.
go?
Ooh.
All right, here we go. I'm going to say green light.
Your card is the Knight of Swords. So in this card, we have a dark-skinned individual riding on a very simple saddle, wearing a hat and a poncho, flying. The mane of the horse is flying. A sword is out in their outstretched right hand, and they are just going full throttle, full energy out there. And so the Knight of Swords tells me that you are a person who has ideas and goes for it, that you're like, yes, let's take this and run. Let's get it done. Let's take the next steps. And where the Knight of Swords, one of the things to remember when the Knight of Swords comes up is to ask yourself the question, if you remember to take this breath before jumping headlong or like diving or running headlong into whatever it is that you're going after, is this the work that I need to be doing, or am I jumping in any sort of savior capacity? And are you jumping in completely impulsively without thinking through what the next steps are, or what is the most helpful or healthy for the situation? And each of those scenarios can and may be true for different sets of circumstances. Sometimes it is incredibly important to just follow that impulse and say yes. And if a mistake is made, to be like, oh, I'm so sorry afterwards. Sometimes it is very important to be like, I need to do this right now. Oh, wait, I'm having a lot of feelings, but is this actually what I need to be doing? Or am I, okay, I'm going to take 3 breaths, and then maybe I'm going to jump in, and maybe I'm going to take a step back, but wait, I'm going to take the time to take those 3 breaths and then make the decision. Does that make sense for you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I just love that video. The audio's not going to do this justice. Everyone, you just have to watch this one. I just love Kate and how she's just
and
great.
Kate is a theater artiste.
Yes.
And she was just expressing her theater artiste self on camera. But yes, that resonates for sure. And I think Kelly could probably, easier speak about that than myself, because she's one of my best friends, business partners, and she sees. And I hope, well, anyway, I'll let you kind of comment, but it certainly resonated.
Well, and I love the horse on the card. I don't know why, that just it's majestic. It's very, very well built. It is in full gallop. Its head is down. Its mane is, it is very connected with the knight. And that's, I don't know why I'm picking up on the horse rather than, the knight's like, yeah, but the horse is just this steed, and it's just this partner in crime. And it's like, the knight is saying, let's rock, and it's fully on. Like, just, if we're jumping off a cliff, we're doing it. Like, let's just do it. And Brian is every day more and more getting entrenched in the community and as a thought leader, and his reach, his presence, his partnerships are growing day by day by day, and the opportunities that you have on a regular basis that are just crossing your path are just so. Taking those 3 breaths and going, like, because I'm the person that's like, oh, I want to do that, and I want to do this, and we're going to do this, and when you get all these beautiful opportunities, sometimes you do have to take that deep breath. But to know that you have that horse and that steed that's like right by you, like helping you do that. It's like the sword is like not even an issue. Like that, it's not. I'm not even really picking up on the sword as much as that connectivity between the knight and the horse. That's just me.
Mm-hmm. And I am so glad that you said what you did about jumping off a cliff together, because in the background of this card and how Marie Bento layered the different engravings in the digital collage work, they're jumping over this. Like,
looks like a bridge.
It could be a bridge. It could be sort of like Marseille, like
that's what I was like, Parliament, or like
or Parliament. Like, it's a very, it's one of those buildings with lots and lots and lots of pillared archways, and jumping over those. Staid and stuffy and oppressive governments and power structures, and just going, woo, like something else, somewhere else.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, Kelly, so much the partner in crime, like finding the conspirators. And the co-creators and the collaborators. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Kelly.
Oh, here we go. There you go.
So Kelly, you chose death.
Nice.
You are not afraid of the transitions. You are not afraid of the chapter changes and nope, we're not going to do it this way. We're going to do it another way. This piece has to go and will be taken back and composted to make fertile ground for what comes next. In particular, what is also striking me here is that our figure of death is also showing magician hands in the love symbol.
I was about to say there's the love symbol.
Yeah. And there's this reminder there that the change and the transformations that come are harnessing love from self and like this figure of death is in a traditional magician pose with the traditionally with one hand up and one hand down, and in this case their left hand is up with the love symbol, the right hand is down holding the scythe, with the pointer finger out. So there is this clear directionality and this gathering from the earth, sharing with the lightning bolts of inspiration there. So it also has some tie-ins with the tower. And I am fascinated by how there's like this beard river fire flowing.
I was wondering if it was a beard or fire. That's exactly what I was thinking.
And so there's this, everything about this just exudes transformation, and the cyclone that takes Dorothy to the Wizard of Oz, and the willingness to be in the maelstrom and listen to those winds of change. How's that resonating for you?
I felt amazing. And one thing I do want to ask is, how many times do you pull a card like that where the person just gets super scared and super like, oh my gosh, like, right? I was, of course you see death and you're like, oh great. But I know enough to go, okay, there's a reason for this. And with death there's new beginnings, and with transformation. And so I want to encourage people that are listening to our show that we do get guidance in a lot of different ways. And to attach it with curiosity rather than, oh gosh. And because I could see people just like totally locking up. But then when you look at everything on there, so the first thing I saw was the sign of love. And I was like, okay. And then the fire. And then, so it's working with someone that is gifted and talented and honed her craft like Kate, where she can help guide it and knows intuitively, okay, this is where the card is going, rather than how I would do it and just get the book out and go, well, this card means, right? Because I'm an absolute beginner. I mean, I love cards. I play with them. I seek guidance in them, but I'm not as I just see you like sharpening your sword. Like, you have refined this. You are trusted. Your tools, your cards are just an extension of you and your gifts and abilities. So I really want to encourage people that if you are curious at all about this, to please, please, please reach out to Kate, because you're very trusted, like you are, and you're very dialed in. And that's you. These are just, again, I just see the extension of you. So we have a minute left of this segment. It just flew by. And I don't want to pull the card how about this? Why don't we pull the card for humanity, and then we will announce it on at the beginning of the next segment. So right now, let's all just focus in on it, and let me know when you want to pull the card.
Mm-hmm. All right, friends. What does humanity need to hear from us right now? It needs to hear the Empress. And this is a fascinating choice for so many reasons that we will get into on the next segment, since we are so short. But do I have enough time to say a very, very short thing before the teaser? Very, very short. Y'all saw me pick the card, for those of you who are watching. This was also the card that came up for Card of the Week this week.
Ha ha ha! Okay, you guys, being curious. Kelly and Brian. Okay, you guys, we're back. Okay.
We're back. We're back. We're back.
Here with Kate, Group Tarot.
The Empress.
And we pulled a heck of a card right beforehand. Kate, the floor is yours.
We did, and part of the reason why pulling the Empress is just so like, ooh, is because this was also the card pulled for Card of the Week this week. And y'all have been watching me or listening to me shuffle, and Kelly can attest that Card of the Week got dropped into her email hours prior to our filming, and yet still this long brunette with a starry crown playing a guitar in her or their lap outside. Again, is it sunny? Is it a full moon? Depends on how you're feeling in that particular day and that particular situation, because there are no other animals in this particular card to give us a clue. Nocturnal animals. Oh, there is a bird there in the distance, but it is not clear enough to say whether it's a nocturnal or diurnal. Diurnal? Am I saying that? Am I remembering that correctly?
Brian, fact check it.
We're going to do a fact check on
okay,
that.
Please.
Right now, we're going to just call it a bird, and we're going to move on.
Maybe it's during the day. Maybe it's at night.
Equal opportunity.
Is it bad as a bird?
Right.
It flies.
It flies. And so on one hand, I am going to invite everybody here to go and read my column, Card of the Week, for the Edge magazine, to see what I wrote for the Empress for the week of February 21st, 2023. And we pulled this card intentionally for humanity, where when this card was pulled for Card of the Week, the invitation there was, how can we best flow through this week? And so whenever we are working with cards, the questions that we ask shape how we interpret the energy. And so as we have asked and received the Empress, and Empress energy is in all bodies, all sex, gender combinations for humanity rather than just the flow of this week. There is an invitation for all of us to really sit into our divine feminine, to listen to music that soothes our soul and connects us with all different parts of the world. One of the things that I love to do, and one of the things that I am personally curious about, to tie it back into the oeuvre of this podcast, is music. And so I love I have lots of different Pandora stations with all different mixes, and some days I want to be listening to the drumming and poetry of Superman, and sometimes I want to be transported by flamenco, and sometimes I want to be enmeshed in the Celtic Isles, and music is one way for us to do that and to transport to different places and to learn about different places and how they feel and literally like how they vibrate, because the instruments that are made in all of the different parts of the world and how they have morphed through the diasporas, through immigration, is amazing. Like, the history of the banjo is amazing. Like, watching its journey back to Africa and there and back, like, so much journeying happens. And one of the pieces with the Empress is that she looks at the big picture. She looks at all of the resources that we have, and the resources that we have are, of course, more than just money. And she is also one who listens to the needs of the people and the places and the animals and the land, and looks to connect resources. She is very much a card of mutual aid and sharing and compassion and care. Great care for the global picture. And so it's a beautiful card for us to pull for humanity, because it really is a card that invites us to remember our shared humanity, to remember how we are all connected. And I remember one of my first magical teachers and my tarot, my deep dive tarot teacher, Matthew Ellenwood, who's also a music teacher, interestingly, would talk about how the vibrations of music, and consequently the vibrations of our voice, anything that has vibrations, they don't disappear. We just stop being able to hear them. And some people that are strongly clairaudient, they will still be able to hear them. But there's this invitation for us to remember how all of those ripple effects and how all of those energy threads connect and are affected in the same ways of waves and tidal pools swirling, which I feel getting out of the cards for a moment, I personally feel the more we remember how much we all have in common and how much we are very interdependent on each other, not just people, but land and animals and energies, the healthier this world will become.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Okay, something that connected us originally was your purple bus. And what is your purple bus's name?
Conscience, or the Traveling Moth.
You guys, you have to check it out on social media. What inspired you to find this beautiful bus and refurbish it and create this beautiful identity for it? And right? I mean, come on. I mean, out of anything that you could have done, it is this precious, and I love its journey. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, the idea spawned. I had gone back to New Mexico to help do some caregiving of my father, And when I am down in New Mexico, my mom and I inevitably watch a lot of the DIY network. And I was watching a lot of Tiny House Nation. And for a very brief amount of time, there was also a television show, although you can find like so many like different things on YouTube and whatnot of bus and schoolie conversions. And I got to thinking about traveling stages and all of I have 2 different solo shows that I perform, one that is autobiographical and one that is tarot based. And I was like, wouldn't it be fun to like travel around doing that? And then I was like, I bet I could do most of that with a school bus. I wonder if this is feasible. So I did a ton of research and I did a ton of test driving. I am based in Portland, Oregon, Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde, and Malala and Warm Springs and Chinook, Multnomah lands, and going out, heading east from my place, there's a huge school bus sales place. And so I went out there and I test drove a ton of different buses and found a size that really felt right. And then I did a bunch of research on makes and models and like, oh my God, so the rabbit hole that any of you could fall down on schoolies is quite vast. And then when I was ready after creating the business plan and looking at loan options and all of that, I solidified my plan. I got my financing in place and started searching for a bus. And I found her in Las Vegas, New Mexico, and drove her back up to Portland. And since then, she has gotten her shiny purple paint job. She has named herself. I was going to name her the Wayward Witch's Which Way Wagon, and she had none of it. And I was like, okay, fine. And I have the interior partially done. She's fantastic for camping and glamping right now. And we're getting a computer chip electrical issue taken care of. Hopefully by the time y'all listening in later, she's all been fixed up. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. Bring back some of that lovely magician
yes, bring back
energy.
the magician. And is she going to be attending your writer's workshop this fall?
I don't know if she is going to be attending my writer's workshop this fall. I don't know.
Okay.
If the writer's workshop is limited to 10 people for 2 reasons. One, for transportation reasons, because one of the beautiful things about the Writers and Creatives workshop, October 1st through 7th, is that my co-creators, Ria Abajos Rios, and I are covering everything except people's airfare. So transportation to and from Sunport, to transportation to and from all of the different adventures, food, lodging, all of that is covered. And so we have a hard limit of 10 people for fitting in the van. And so if I have the bus with me, that means that we've had more than 10 people, and I am trying to squeeze one more person in. So that then I will take myself out of the equation of needing housing there and will house myself on conscience.
Okay. And people can register at grouptarot.com for your adventure this fall.
So
what website do they do? Or they go to?
Yeah, so to register for my Writers and Creatives retreat, it is currently open registration for groups at grouptarot.com/retreat. March 1st is when registration goes open for individuals, and y'all listening are getting special access because since we do only have space for 10 people, it's going out to Group Tarot mailing lists and Rio Abajo Rio mailing lists and the Edge community first, so it might not go up for everybody else on the social medias with the spring equinox.
Oh my gosh. Kate, we could talk to you for hours. Like, this is just amazing. Well, you guys, Kate Mura, friend of the Edge, friend of the Being Curious show, Group Tarot. What a fun show. On behalf of Kelly and Brian and Kelly and Kate, thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll talk to you soon.